Welcome to this supplemental training for the LSE Student Academic Mentor, otherwise known as SAM, online training program. This very short video will give you some advice on how to mentor effectively from a distance. So let's look at mentoring at a distance in detail. For the 2020-21 academic year, I want to be honest with you all that there is much we don't yet know about how the university will continue to operate. But we will reopen in one shape or another, and one thing we do know is how important it is that SAMs will continue to offer mentees their support, especially during welcome. This new situation will, however, inevitably have some challenges. These are a few of the main challenges you may find as a SAM next year. Not being able to meet mentees face to face, struggling to establish a good rapport with your mentees, reluctance to use online meeting tools for both mentors and mentees, finding a good way to keep in touch, mentees with questions on things mentors have not had to face. But worry not, we'll look at each of these challenges in this video and talk you through key ways you can overcome them. So let's look at ways to hold an online meeting. Okay, so it's not the easiest thing that you won't be able to meet your mentees face to face, but luckily the LSE has two potential resources you can use to have an online meeting. LSE has two options of programs you can use to hold online meetings. Firstly, Zoom. Follow these instructions on screen to download and run Zoom using your LSE account. Please use this rather than your own Zoom account. It is more secure and means you will not be restricted in terms of length of the sessions, etc. There is also some really simple to follow advice created by the LSE Research Lab, which we've linked to here. Second, we have Microsoft Teams. Again, you can follow the directions on screen to open and use Microsoft Teams for your meetings. There is an online guide which we've linked to here if you are stuck. Teams is slightly more secure than Zoom, so you may prefer Teams. But a lot of students will have probably used Zoom as well, so do check in with your mentees first and ask them what they would prefer. You could also potentially use Skype or Google Hangouts. However, we are not able to supply guidance for these as they are not supported by university accounts. So if you do choose to use these, just be very careful and make sure you keep your information secure. Here are some top tips for successful video calls. Find a quiet place to talk where you won't be interrupted. If possible, you may find using headphones and/or a microphone might help you to be more clearly heard. Treat a video call like you were seeing each other face to face. Make sure you're dressed appropriately and prepared. Check what's in shot. Do you want your mentee to see that pile of washing or unmade bed? And lastly, consider propping your laptop up on some books for a better angle. But remember, not all students may feel comfortable seeing themselves on screen. And some students may be in different time zones or countries that make using these resources very difficult. So some students may have poor internet connections or nowhere quiet they can make calls, and some mentees may prefer other options to communicate, so give them lots of choices. Basically, work with your mentee to find a method of contact that works for you both. There are other ways you can get and stay in contact with your mentees. When you are first given their details, this will normally come via your LSE email. So after contacting them initially, you could both decide this is your preferred method of contact. There is nothing wrong with this if it works for both of you. But just be a little mindful of how you are making contact and what you are happy to share with them. Here is a quick recap of the boundaries we talked about in part 2 of the main training. So set early with what your boundaries are with mentees. By this we mean not only preferred ways to contact, but also times of day, e.g. I'll get back to all messages or emails once a week, or on Wednesday afternoon, or I'll reply Tuesdays and Thursdays, or I won't check my WhatsApp after 10 p.m. local time. Whatever is best for you. Inform mentees in advance if you need to make changes to any agreed boundaries. This just helps you all stay on the same page. Be clear how and when to contact you outside of an agreed meeting and keep to this. If you share your phone number with your mentee, remember they could message you at any time. And when using social media, just think carefully about keeping mentoring separate or what you are happy with your mentees seeing. So if you do need to mentor at a distance, how will you and your mentees cope with not being able to meet each other in person and still build a good rapport? So let's look at how you can build a good online rapport with your mentee. Even if you can't talk face to face, much of the advice in part 4 and 5 of the main training still applies. So do refer back to those slides if you need to. The main things to consider when building an online rapport are approachability, being caring, displaying a positive attitude, and respect. We'll now look at each of these one by one. So, approachability. Help your mentees feel comfortable coming to you. Let them know clearly how and when they can approach you. Pass on any instructions they may need for online resources. Don't just assume they already know how to use these. And be honest about any aspects of this situation that you find difficult as well. Be caring. Show your mentees you care even though you can't see them face to face. Check in with them regularly by your agreed method of communication. If you find something helpful, pass it on, especially if it's something you found with working online. And consider sending a top tip each week just to help keep communication going. A positive attitude. If you do manage a video chat, a sense of humour and a smile go a long way. They will help your mentee warm up and feel more comfortable. While this is a difficult time for everyone, try to make sure you have your mentee catch-ups when you feel positive. If you're having a bad day, let your mentee know you'll need to postpone and schedule a new time. And lastly, respect. Be respectful of each other and your respective boundaries. Respect that some students may prefer not to be on video. Don't force a method of communication on your mentees. Find out what communication method they would prefer and work together to make it work. This is a new way of working for us all. Your mentees are likely to be facing challenges you've not experienced in your first year. But remember, you'll be facing similar challenges too, so just be honest and try to help as best you can. Once you find something that works for you, maybe share this with your mentees. You might also want to refer your mentee to LSE Life if they are struggling with this new way of studying. At LSE Life, they can have a 30-minute one-to-one with one of the study advisors who can help them to come up with a tailor-made strategy to better navigate this new way of studying. Lastly, if you do need some more support or are finding working with mentees challenging, don't forget there is more advice and guidance on the Student Academic Mentor Moodle page. While it's very unlikely you'll have some problems, don't just suffer in silence. Let your department or me know as soon as possible and we can help. Okay, that's the end of the supplemental training. As I said, don't forget there is more advice and support on the Sam Mentor Moodle page.